Hi, lovely and darling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm doing another Top 5 Wednesday. As always, the Goodreads group is in the description below, as well as the entire list of books that I'm talking about if you want to look them up. Okay, this week's topic is our favorite polarizing books, which I I don't really know what to do with this one. So basically, I just Googled polarizing books, made a list of a bunch of things that come up routinely, and then picked my 5 favorite ones that I don't constantly talk about. So the first book on my list is 1984 by George Orwell. I first read this book in high school and don't think I've read it since, honestly. We've got this alternate world where Big Brother, which is this omnipresent government that spies on everybody and controls every single action, thought, like anything you can do. Like, you can't even procreate without permission from the government. This sounds like a book that would be utterly depressing, and it kind of is, but it's also super fascinating to consider what this world looks like and also to kind of see the parallels in our current world, which is a little bit frightening. But somehow I really enjoyed this. Like, I don't know if it's just like this intellectual exercise to imagine what this world would be like. Number 2 book on my list is Cat's Cradle by Vonnegut. This is another book that I read in high school and honestly haven't read since, but I remember being super excited when I read this. I love Kurt Vonnegut's sense of humor and writing style, that deadpan, sarcastic, satirical stuff that's going on. I am so about that. I love it so much. In Cat's Cradle, we have this post-apocalyptic world, and we have a journalist, I think, something like that. He's interviewing the people who are responsible for creating the nuclear bomb and what they've actually have a new invention called Ice 9, which will turn any water source into ice and just freeze the entire planet and kill everything on it, because everything needs water to live, even plants. Um, so it's just mostly about, I think it's the style of writing in these books that I am like really love about them. Um, because honestly, the actual subject matter is incredibly depressing, but the way it's executed is wonderful in my opinion. Next on my list is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I love the first book in this series, Ender's Game, and it's wonderful and amazing, and honestly, that's where I stop if I'm gonna reread it. I just read book 1, not so much a fan of the rest of the series, especially Xenocide, which I couldn't even finish reading. Um, so Ender's Game focuses on this young boy, Ender Wiggin. He's like 5 when the series starts. And he gets sent to a battle training military school in space on the space station. And I just love the whole school setting within Ender's Game and being in space and all the battle tactics they're learning. And also I love Ender's like genius and problem solving skills and trying to figure out what's happening, and how they're trying to push him forwards. They're just, I love this first book. It's amazing. The rest of the series is kind of eh. And so I get why some people don't love Ender's Game, but I love this first book so much. So much. It's space. It's a boarding school in space, guys. It's awesome. The next book on my list is High Rise by J.G. Ballard. This one was contemporary in its time when it was written in the 1970s. It's set in the 70s, but it is dystopian and kind of like science fiction like without having any of the typical science stuff happening, if that makes sense. It's reminiscent of science fiction without technically being science fiction itself, which I like about it because I love science fiction. So High Rise takes place entirely within this high-rise apartment complex that is completely self-sustaining. They have its own grocery store, gym, couple swimming pools, hair salon, like anything you could possibly need is in this building. The only thing you need to leave for is like to go to work, and some people even work in the building, so like you wouldn't have to. And I just love the commentary it has with like this social structure depending on where you live. So like the top level is like this aristocracy, all the famous people, the architect who designed the building all live there. We have a middle section with kind of the middle class, including our main protagonist, Robert Lang, and the bottom section with all of like the poorest people. And then the society within the high rise breaks down, and we have this war going on within like people trying to get to the higher levels and take social stature, and just really all our base animal instincts are just laid out. It's gruesome and disgusting, which I can get why some people don't like this book. A lot of awful things happen, including the fact that they allude to cannibalism happening in there. There's definitely murder going on, and animal cruelty, and eating people's pets, which is disgusting. But just the way that I like the intellectual exercise of going through these books. I would not want to live in any of these books that I've mentioned, but I like the thought process of that. And the last book on my list is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Not science fiction. Yay! So The Scarlet Letter focuses on Hester Prynne, who becomes pregnant in Puritan New England. And she's not married. And part of the mystery of this book is who's the father, and the implications of what her being an unmarried mother in this society does to her and to her child. It's really about guilt, and I like it. It's weird, but I love this book. I know some people don't like it because it's just so awkward. But I love Hester Prynne's like whole journey and challenging society at the time in a way too. It just works. I just like it. I know that like none of these characters are like the most likable people ever, but I still like the story. So those are my top 5 picks for my favorite polarizing books. Let me know in the comments below if you love or hate any of the books I've mentioned, or what your favorite polarizing books are. Peace out, I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye!